Boom.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Overshot, a paintball podcast. Before we get rolling with our guests, I got to tell you, if you want to help out the show in any way, shape, or form, the easiest way to do that is our Patreon. That is patreon.com/overshot, a paintball podcast. Any sort of donation is great. It's $1 or $5. It doesn't matter. We have different tiers, discounts on merch and other things. I'm kind of was working some other things in my head. Like one of the things I kind of want to do is if you've been a Patreon member for a year, I want to give you an Overshot jersey. So whether, if you maybe give them $5 for 12 months, I'll give you an Overshot jersey. That's not official yet. That's just something I was literally thinking about today. But yeah, so if you want to go help us out, visit our Patreon. If you want to help out the companies that help out our show, that is Dizana Sports, man. They just got Seattle Thunder on their team from the pro spot, so that's pretty sick. But if you go to their website, dizanasports.com, use code Overshot when you check out, you'll get 10% off everything. Some new Thunder gear. They got all kinds of stuff. Go check it out. And of course, also Volcano. I'm from the Northeast. It's snowing and raining a lot. I don't like dragging a wheeler bag through the snow. He just left. He knows too. So Volcano makes these great big gear bag backpacks. You're not lugging your gear bag through your roll bag through the snow. The wheels getting jammed up. You're just pretty much dragging the thing. You throw this on your back. You go to their website, which is volcanousa.com, and you use code Overshot10. You'll get 10% off the bag. The bag is sweet. I got it right here. I use it up here. Definitely go grab one. But now that I'm excited to get to talk to our guest, Nick, man, I'm so excited. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, bud. This is exciting. I'm a big fan of your show. I love what you're doing. The more paintball content we can get, the better, right?
Dude, right? The more the merrier, man. The more the merrier. So before we even get started with any of that, of course, if you're not watching on YouTube and you're listening to this on podcast, I definitely encourage you to go to the YouTube channel because you got a bunch of sweet ass guns on the wall behind you, man. So maybe just tell me your favorite gun back there and talk a little bit about it.
My favorite one? Okay, yeah. So I'll try to describe them for the listeners. But my favorite, oh man, that's tough.
I know.
Electric or mech? Give me that.
Give me mech. Give me mech. I love mech.
Okay, my favorite mech. I'll grab it.
Sweet. Yeah, like I said, dude, if you're listening to this only on podcast form and you're not on YouTube, dude, go to the YouTube right now and check it out, dude.
Yeah, this is a this is a all black Planet Eclipse 170R. Now this is the HK cut, so it's got that private label.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not the normal one because that's what I rock, and that does not look like mine.
Yeah, so this they don't make in the mechanical version, but I had a 170 that I've been shooting, and I'm just a sucker for private label stuff, as you can see. I don't keep non-private label guns. I'll buy them and I'll sell them. Right. So when this came out, I'm like, man. Obviously, playing with Fusion, this has been fully Caesarized and all ultra silk to the gear. It's yeah, man, this thing's so cool. I can't help but to think like if mechanical guns came out like this before electric guns, I don't know that we would have electric guns.
Dude, right? You got the hair valve in that bad boy?
Oh yeah, hair valve. I actually took this feed neck off of that CS1 up here. It's a little bit taller. I like the taller feed necks for some reason. I like to be able to see down my barrel a little bit better.
No, I agree with that. That's actually kind of like a good thing. Like, yeah, the distance between the hopper and the top of the milling, it gives you like a better sight line.
Yeah, the guns are so short now. It feels like I'm staring at the back of my loader a lot. So when Adrenaline came out with that mid-rise, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. Why did we get away from this? And I shoulder that, and I can see everything.
Yeah. Dude, I feel like that as a dude that's like 6 foot tall, like a lot of times I'm like, kind of like yeah. Just to get a good sight line,
I know, man. Yeah, and it's crazy. Like, I don't know if you see we'll go over here, the Intimidator up here. Oh, that thing is so tall. Like you look at pictures of it by itself, but then like you see it next to the smaller guns. It's huge, and I think that came out in 2005. So I'd have been like 16 years old. I'm trying to, and the tanks were longer back then too. So I'm trying to hold these guns, like this. And I started. The style back then was to kind of hunch over and put them under your armpit a little bit.
Dude, giant tanks and drop forward.
Yeah. It was so cool.
All right, dude. But I guess we'll get into it now, man. So I love hearing what their first time was and what kept them coming back. So what was the first time playing paintball like in your first experience?
Okay, so I actually wrote all this stuff down because it's a lot. In 1996, I went with my dad to my uncle's house, and he's got two boys a little bit older than me, and they were across the street playing in the woods. One of them had one of these. And for the listeners, this is a Splatmaster. This is the original Splatmaster. This was my first gun. So one of them had this, and the other one had a Rapide. Do you know what the Rapides are?
Yep.
Very similar, but you had like a turny thingy on here. And it held twice the amount of balls. But I thought that thing looked lame, and I liked the way this looked, so I just begged my dad to get me one. In 96, I would have been 7 years old, so I probably shouldn't have had it. But yeah, man, I saw them doing that. I'm like, what is this? This is so cool. And of course, they didn't shoot me. My dad wouldn't let them, but they're like, yeah, come out and come shoot me. But they just let me shoot the trees. And I was like, I grew up shooting guns with my dad, so it was nothing too crazy. That's really what got me started. And then so I just had that. I just kind of kept it at the house. I got it, and I didn't really do anything with it. I'd go out back and I'd shoot trees, or I'd run down to the woods, and shoot in the water, and nothing fancy. And then in 97, I started seeing paintball magazines pop up in stores. You'd be going to like Walmart, and they used to have a bit. I don't know if they do now, but they had a big magazine section, and then you'd have the one I remember the most was Action Pursuit games, and I saw one, and it was like it ranked guns, so it had the top 100 guns, and I looked at that, and man, I bought that, and I can't tell you how many hours I spent looking at it. It was crazy. I was like obsessed with it, and I don't even know why. I didn't even really play yet, but then I saw this Tippmann Pro Light. I don't know why I thought it was so cool. Looking back, it was not cool at all. But I was 8 years old then, so I saw it was one of those ones with like the strap from like the foregrip to the bottom of the grip, and kind of like an army gun. I was 8 years old. That's what I liked. So I just begged my dad, and finally he bought me that too. I was a little spoiled. After this though, after that gun, I had to start working for him.
Yeah, so I'm sure they were only going to go up in price after that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that Splatmaster was $50 for a 7-year-old. That's a lot, and then the Tippmann was like 110, I think. So nothing crazy. But gosh, that Tippmann, I still have it, but I don't know where it is. Man, it was so long. I kid you not, it was 3 feet long. And then you put
those guns were huge on back then.
It was literally 3.5, 4 feet long. Oh, so it's so crazy how much the technology's changed.
Times have changed, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so 97, I got that Pro Light. And then we were at a family get together, like a Thanksgiving or something. I don't remember the specifics, but it was with my mom's side this time, and they were like 4 years older than me, and they were actually playing at like fields. There was a field called Mohawk Paintball in Jeromesville, Ohio, I believe. I grew up in Ashland. I'm from Central Ohio mostly.
Okay.
And I just begged my parents to go, and they wouldn't let me. The field had a minimum age of 10, and I was 8. So they're like, no way. Yeah. But my cousin, he knew I loved to do it. We were cool. I mean, he's my older cousin. He takes me under his wing. He was making a film for one of his classes in school, like a war reenactment, like a silly, kid-made film. But he talked my mom into letting me take my gun and go over there and playing with them. Little did I know they were doing a Vietnam reenactment film. So it was me, my cousin Ben Ramsey, who was about my age, and then one other of the guy's younger brothers or something, and against like 12 high school kids. They're like, we need you to be the Viet Cong, and we're going to be the United States. I'm like, oh, okay. But I just wanted to play so much, I couldn't stop.
Right.
Yeah, so I'll never forget, man. I feel bad saying this, but we played on a tiny little graveyard that was surrounded by fields. So they were in the graveyard, and we were in like this. It wasn't a cornfield, but it just had some really tall brush. So we didn't have anything to hide behind. We just had tall brush, and we were just running around. But man, I tell you, I got shot so much, and I cried every time. But it was the most exciting, the funnest thing I'd ever done. And after that, like, that's all I talked about. That's all my parents, that's all my parents saw me doing. And so I think they finally let me go to that field.
Yeah, if only you were older. Like, yo, fuck you. You guys lose.
I know.
Let me shoot the fuck out of you guys.
I know. Yeah. Well, it's funny because I was obsessed with it, so I started going to that field every weekend. I mean, literally every weekend, dude. My parent, like, I remember one time my parents wanted to go on like a family vacation, and I threw a fit. I'm 9-10 years old. I'm like, I don't want to go on vacation. I want to play paintball. So I stayed home with my dad, and we went and played. I think they were gone for like a week and a half. So we went down to like somewhere special. I think it was somewhere in Cincinnati. It was like an indoor field. It was like in an abandoned warehouse or something. That was a lot of fun.
That's sick.
Yeah, man, it's just cool because it was something I got to do with my family. It's funny because it started off with my cousins on my dad's side, and then I started doing it a lot with my cousins on my mom's side. It just really keeps people together.
Yeah, dude, no, that's sick. Like, my brother knows he's my ride or die guy, and me and my brother like always play together, dude.
Yeah, I think that's the coolest thing about. I think it's the best and the worst part about paintball is the people, right? Yeah. Because you know how I've been captaining the teams for so long, I kind of get sick of all the bullshit.
Oh yeah.
But my oldest friends are paintball friends. Mm-hmm. Like go back to the story at this field. That's where I met Jesse Sham. He's been playing with me since then. Since we were 8 years old. I'm 33 now, so like we've been friends more during my life than not.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I still talk to him several times a week. Oh no, did I freeze again?
Yeah, you did freeze a little bit.
Oh well.
Come on.
So I'll get back to it. Hopefully it comes back. Or I can come back out if you need.
Yeah, no, it's cool. We can keep talking.
Okay.
Because I can still hear you.
Just okay.
Like the picture's frozen.
Yeah. Okay. So I met Jesse at that Mohawk paintball. Mm-hmm. That's where I started playing with my cousin all the time. That was in 97, 98. I started going, dude, I like I said, literally every weekend. And then I still had that Tippmann Pro Light, and then the Tippmann Pro Light was the same gun that they used as rentals. So I don't know, me being a snobby, snuck up kid, I was like, I don't want this thing. I want something cool. So the cousin that I was playing with out at that field, he lived on a dairy farm. And my parents were like, well, we're not going to buy you any more guns. This is crazy. And, I'm looking at these magazines that have $1,000, $2,000 guns in them. And my parents were just like, no way. You're not going to do that. So
no way.
They made me start working on the farm. So my uncle would give me $10 a load for a bale of hay. And then one summer day we could do 10 loads. So $100 a day for a 10-year-old kid is a lot.
Yeah, dude, that's good money back then.
Yeah, man. And all I needed for was a paintball gun.
Right.
Yeah. And then that's when I picked up my first autococker. I got a 1998 right feed WGP autococker. Oh, no, man, this thing was sick. Especially coming back from, from a Splatmaster then to a Tippmann. That was like a real gun.
Right.
I know. I don't know. I don't know what happened to that thing, man. I wish I still had it. That's probably the one that got away that I really wish it didn't.
The one that got away. So, sorry guys, we'll have to leave and come back there. But right before we left, you were talking about how you were, working for $100 a day, like throwing hay. I know what that's like. I work on a farm. I work with horses just to get up enough money to get a sweet WPG autococker. So tell us a little more about that thing.
Dude, yeah, it's like I don't know. If you're watching, you can tell I like the guns. I like the stuff. It's so cool. And going back to the magazines, you see these guys. They almost look like superheroes.
Yeah.
And then so I just love that. But yeah, dude, and so like their paintball started me working at such a young age, and like you said it yourself, working on a farm, baling hay, that's hard work, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Whew. And I think that put a good work ethic into me really young, which is really translated and helped me out later in life, So back to Mohawk paintball. That's where I met Jesse Sham. He's been playing with me for so long and still does. He's still my wingman. But we would just play there every weekend. We didn't know, I saw tournament stuff in the magazines, but I didn't think that would be something accessible to me. And then I remember one day my dad came home and he said, he was talking to a trucker that worked for him, and he was up on the Ohio Turnpike, and he saw a store or a sign for a paintball store called Great Lakes Paintball. You know, I was in love with it so much. We just drove up there one day after school. And it was just a small store in this guy's like garage, which not cool now, but like I thought it was the coolest thing. He had like a Bushmaster on the wall, and a couple angels. And we got to talking to him, and he said he was doing, I can't remember. I think it was the Young Guns tournament. And, you know, I think this is 99, 98, 99.
Something like that, probably, yeah.
Yeah, and so it was 13 and under. And so obviously I had me, and I had Jesse, and then I had my cousin Ben that was going with me all the time. And so we're like, yeah, this is awesome. Let's do this. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
You know?
We're going to mop it up. Let's go.
Yeah, and that's what we thought, you know, because, gosh, I mean, I tell you, I play every week, and so did those guys. You know, they were my best friends. And,
yeah.
So we show up to this tournament thinking we're hot shit, you know, and we pull up there and we see these other kids rolling around, and they had some nice guns too, you know. But by that time, I got an Angel LCD, you know, the 2000. Actually, it's up here, that blue one up there.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the top.
Yeah,
corner.
yeah. So that was like the cream of the crop when it came out. So I'm up there. I'm thinking we're gonna go play against a bunch of Tippmann players and rental players, but there was a kid there with a super sweet like red black splash B2K, some guy with a super nice autococker, and then another guy with a Angel LED. And these guys turned out to be Cody Schmick from Dynasty, Vicious.
Those are the two I know him from.
Yeah. And then Drew Heyer from Aftershock, Vicious, Dynasty Entourage, Infamous.
Right.
All sorts of players. And then Tony Bankrus, who kind of quit playing. But we show up this tournament, and then here's 3 future pros, you know? So we didn't know that then, obviously, but...
Welcome to paintball.
Yeah, man, and we just smashed through everybody, and then we met them in the finals, and it was a 3-man event, and you got X amount of points for grabbing the flag and kill, and so their strategy was to pull the flag every game. So
right.
They sent Cody up the middle, and we watched him do it the whole time. So we shot that dude off break. So then it was a 3-on-2.
Do not let that happen.
Yeah, no. Like we scouted him. It seemed obvious to me. So we shot Cody, and then we ended up dinking out Tony and Drew, and we won the event. But it was just so awesome because it was their home field. You know, they had been playing tournaments already, and so they were called the Rabid Gophers, and we were called Wicked Intrusion. And then obviously you see a bunch of good kids, and then a bunch of good kids. That field owner is like, I wonder what we should do here. You know, we've got 6 good kids. Let's start a team. So we started a team. We called ourselves the Rabid Gophers. So nothing cool. But man, if you would have looked at that roster and, you know, foresaw whatever happened. Where was I? The meeting Cody and Drew at Great Lakes Paintball. So yeah, we started playing. We started playing some 5-man tournaments. We were doing pretty well. We were playing. Back then, they didn't really have like a Division 1, 2, 3. It was rookie, novice, amateur A, and amateur B.
Right.
So we started in the rookie division. We were playing this tournament series called the OPPL. It was like a bunch of random groups of fields in the Midwest area, you know, like Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana, West Virginia, kind of like the MSXL does now.
Right.
And we won more than we lost. So that was pretty exciting. And then the owner of Great Lakes Paintball, his name was Jim Colvin. He's like, maybe we should start looking at bigger things. And that's when they still had the IAO. Right. Did you play when they had the IAO?
No, I've only been into the game recently, so I've had to been like a real like historian. Like I only know about these things from looking them up. I didn't start playing until 2014.
Right, yeah. So man, the IO would have been dead for 10 years.
Yep. Yeah. But I know because I talked to so many people and like so many old heads, and like I really cut my teeth and got my ass beat by dudes like Rosie and Mooner, some of the Ground Zero guys. So I of course know all these things because I hear it from them.
Dude, yeah, and you know, we were little kids back then, and we'd come in, and that was a time when like these were grown men playing, you know, like grown, hardened men. They didn't like us. You know, you see a kid at the field now, you're nice to them. You know, you try to show them the ropes. These guys were assholes. They were so mean to us. But that made us good. You know, I think that's probably a big problem with the game now. These kids are all soft. Yeah. So yeah.
When it gets tough, that's the thing. Like those old school, like again, like I'm an old school kind of guy. I work on a farm. Like I'm no stranger to like hard work and stuff. And it just feel like, now a lot of the time you just see people as soon as it gets tough, they're out, man. And that's when you find out what's good, bro. When you're tired and you're like, bro, I can't even pick my arm up, but let's go. Yeah, I'm ready for the next drill, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude, that adversity really molds you into a better person. You know, iron sharpens iron.
Right.
So if you can't hack it, you got to get out.
No, like something I really carry over from wrestling is something like you'd always say, like, push harder than you were today, and then tomorrow, like, that's your new max. So just keep pushing.
Yeah.
You know, and like that's just the way I think about it. Even the sport too. Yeah, like, dude, we're doing another snake drill. All right, yeah, like my legs are hell fucking tired, but do it again.
I know, man. Yeah, dude, the wrestlers, the wrestling mentality, it takes a special type of person for that. I did some wrestling when I was younger too, until paintball came along and kind of ditched everything.
I talked to that play paintball. We're like, yeah, dude, I wrestled in high school too. It's a crazy amount of people that wrestle.
Mm-hmm. Dude, you need that. I mean, wrestling, gosh, those are some athletes, man. It is. It's terrible, but gosh, it's so good for you, especially developing young body and a young mind.
Right, dude. Like, that's why I think like jiu-jitsu is popular. I recommend people do that now because like a lot of people think you're hard, bro. But like, bro, there are times in wrestling you go against people that are just flat out stronger, bigger, and better than you. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot you can do about it, and you don't feel what it's like to get like manhandled.
It's an awful feeling when someone else just forces whatever they want onto you. Yeah. That feeling will either break you or make you want to work harder.
Exactly. And in wrestling, you don't even get to that until you've already run 6 miles and you're already
practice doesn't start until you're already tired.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, people are soft. So this is like the early 2000s, late 90s. You just put together this team, man. You guys are doing all right. Like I said, you won more than you lost. But what's going on next for you guys?
So the IAO, the International Amateur Open, was held in Pennsylvania. They had a Young Guns division. So I believe it was 14 and under. And I think I was 13 and the rest of the guys were 14. We went up there. It was Cody, Drew, and that Tony guy, and then me, Nate Gressman, and Bobby Ingalls. So I didn't go with Jesse or Ben because I think they were too old at that time. So that first year, we smashed everyone in prelims. Cody, Drew, and Tony's team was in a different bracket, so your brackets were in a different day. They did the same thing, so they won every game. And then we got to the finals, and we didn't do too well. I don't know what it was, but I wasn't mentally prepared to win yet. Yeah. And then the competition was actually pretty good, in a big national tournament like that. Cody, Drew, and Tony took second the first year. So pretty good for, six kids out of one field,
Dude, you're right. It takes a while to learn to win, dude.
It does, and it's a mind state more than anything. A lot of things have to go right to win a tournament. You're playing the other team, you're playing your teammates, you're playing the refs. I hate to say it. You're playing the odds. You got to have a lot of things go right. You got to be lucky too. The paint was immaculate back then, but if you got a bounce, or I remember one game in particular, I ran up and I had that Angel with the IntelliFeed. You know what the IntelliFeed is? So it was a little wire that came from the Revolution that plugged right into the gun.
Right.
So the way that worked is every 2 times you pull a trigger, that paddle in the Revolution would spin. So I ran up to bunker this guy, and I shot, and I had because it didn't have eyes, it just shot blank, and there's nothing in there. And then I shot again, and that thing started turning, and I'm like, oh no, I just air bunkered this guy with no balls. So I pulled that thing out and put the Revy back in after that.
Oh, that's too funny, dude. That's the worst.
But yeah, man, the IAO is so great, and I like the gear, I like the stuff, and IAO had this giant trade show. I went to go up there, and like I'll never forget. There was just, I remember Cap, and you'd see all the Cap girls and the Smart Parts booths and the Smart Parts girls, and the little prepubescent kid running around like, oh, can you sign my barrel bag? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just,
oh, what is
yeah. And yeah, you know, I'm a little kid. They're like, oh, you're so cute. This is great. So I got I got a lot of attention that way. Yeah, I mean that was the IAO, and then I stayed at Great Lakes playing. At that time, Cody, Drew, Jesse, and all of them were too old to play in the Young Guns, and they kind of had their heart set on bigger, better things. So they left Great Lakes Paintball, and they went to travel to Toledo Indoor Paintball. That's where they met Eric Garbers. I don't know if you guys know Eric Garbers, but in my opinion, Eric Garbers is probably the most important person to come to Ohio Paintball. He ran a field called Toledo Indoor Paintball, and he owned Tippmann Effect. So Cody, Drew, and Jesse all went out there, and then, you know, Toledo was 2.5 hours from my house, and I can't drive yet, so my parents weren't really on that. You know, they were already driving me an hour and a half. They're like, I don't want to add an extra hour onto this trip, but I wanted it so bad, you know. So yeah, Cody, Drew, Jesse, they go over there, they try out for the team, they just kind of force themselves on. You know, a good way to get on a team is just be available and be there, you know. Right. So if you're just going all the time and you're always there, you know how paintball players are. They're always flaky as fuck. You know, there's always people dropping out last minute. So they just got picked up out of convenience and being, you know, spectacular players. So I believe that was when I think it was still PSP. It was before X-Ball started, so it was 10-man. Okay. 10-man still. And then shortly after that, the league split in half. So it was the MPPL started doing the 7-man, and the X-Ball started going with the PSP, which was sweet. I like both. You know, to this day, 7-man is probably my favorite still. But man, back then you saw X-Ball, it was so awesome.
Yeah. People
so they
guns a million balls a second.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So this is around 2002, 2003. And those guns, I mean, they say they're semi-auto, but Jesse had a gun, an Intimidator that shot 22 balls a second, and if you held the trigger in for 1 second and go back to semi-auto.
Yeah, so, I've seen that. Yeah.
So, I mean, it was semi-auto. But yeah, so and then once I got a little bit older, you know, my parents kind of felt for me because all my friends had left, and I'm playing with these guys where now I'm at the top of the team. You know, when I was playing with Jesse and Cody and Drew, I was kind of like the shitty player. You know, I was just there.
Right.
But then I grew, and I felt like I was at the level to where I could, you know, go higher. And that's when I started. I followed suit. So I started going to Toledo Indoor Paintball, and I was just available. You know.
Best ability is availability, man.
Dude, for real, and that's how I got on the team originally. It was my first event was with them was in 2003. I couldn't drive yet, so Jesse was picking me up. He had to drive 40 minutes to come pick me up, and then we'd go practice in either Toledo or Columbus. And I would just go to practice, and I'd sit there and I'd wait until they needed a guy. And slowly but surely, they started letting me run some drills with them, and then they'd throw me into some points. You know, it was great. And that's how that's like if I have any advice for kids, that's what you got to do. You know,
yeah, be there, just be there.
Yeah, man, and you know, Tippmann was never. They were a good team. They weren't a great team, you know, but it was like a national team. It was a fully funded, awesome team, and you know, the guns aren't super sweet, obviously, but it's super sweet that you can win with those guns, you know.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, it's kind of tough when you guys are like shooting slingshots compared to some of the other guys.
Yeah, man, and then like I said, when I got on the team, that was like right in the era of these bouncing guns and cheater boards and super sweet stuff. Yeah. But yeah, so bling, bling. yeah. And what's crazy, so when I made the team, it was captained by a guy named Bill Ayers, and God love him. I hated him to death when he did this to me, but now it was the best thing that anyone could have ever done. He made me play with the mechanical 98. He wouldn't even give me the electronic kit. So, dude, I'm literally shooting maybe 6 balls a second against 15, 20. And I tell you what, that got my shot good. So, I mean, you practice with weights. We were playing with weights, you know. We were always the underdog. And, you know, we did okay. And then the next year, I don't know what happened, but Bill left the team, and a guy named Jason Casebolt took over, and then he started getting us some pretty sweet guns. I have one. Yeah, I have one here. This is the 98 Custom. You see it's got the vertical feed. Man, I tell you what, a vertical feed, it's so underrated because everyone has one. They don't know how awful it is playing with an A5. So do you remember the A5s? Before I used this gun, I had an A5. It was cool because it had a wasp board in it, so it shot pretty fast. But it had at least 3 inches of hopper that just stuck out the right side. So when you were shooting, it was, it was super sweet. But yeah, Jason Casebolt took over. He allowed us to start playing with some electric guns, which was great. And that's when we had the Tippmann Effect X, which played D2 X-Ball, and then there was a 7-man team that played professional 7-man. And that's where I met Carl. I met Craig Doherty, Fatty from Philly Americans, Detroit Thunder, all that. That's where I met Tim Montresor. Dude, the names that came out of that camp would just shock you. So, I mean, just off the top of my head, you've got Grant Butler went on to play with Philly Americans. You got Cody and Drew who went off to play with Vicious, Infamous, Dynasty. Jesse went off to play with NYX for an event. Tim, Fatty. Yeah. And there's a whole horde of people. I think there's like 100 people that came to that camp, and I think a lot of it has to do with those goddamn guns. They just weren't up to. I mean, they're great guns. Like you can throw these things on the floor and pick them back up and they'll shoot. But when you're trying to play a tournament with them, it's not really what you want.
They're rentals for a reason. Yeah, it opens with dirt on the barrel, but.
Yeah, man. I remember being really young out at Old Town in Kissimmee, Florida, and we were drinking underage. Probably shouldn't say that. But we were taking our guns, and we found Damian Ryan running around the parking lot. It was just before Damian Ryan was Damian Ryan. Yeah. And we're just spiking these guns in the floor. And he's like, hey, man, can I try that? And he'd spike in the floor, and we'd shoot it in the woods. He's like, dude, that is so cool. I want one of those. Yeah, I think I actually ended up giving him one, so I don't think I ever saw him use it, but still pretty cool. We had so many guns, we just get like one an event, They're $100 guns, and we're a fully funded team.
Right. Yeah, right. You get a new gun every event.
Oh yeah, man. Jesse wouldn't bring a gear bag to events. He'd just be like, oh, they lost it. I don't know what happened. So he'd roll up. And poor we call him Uncle Garbers. He took such good care of us. He'd just get us whatever we wanted. And he's just he was just such a good guy because he was basically our babysitter. Working for Tippmann, owning a field, dealing with all these little kid idiots. It was such a good guy. He put up with a lot. I really appreciate it.
That's too funny. So. I know Tippmann Effect went around for a little bit, but they eventually did fold. So, like, what happened when Tippmann Effect folded? What did you do as a player next?
Okay, so I played with Tippmann for 2003, 2004, and by 2004, again, all of my friends left. Cody and Drew left to play for Vicious. Fatty and Tim, they had already moved on to Fusion. And Jason Casebolt, our coach then, I just loved him to death. He just finished college. He couldn't coach a team anymore. So they kept trying to bring new guys in. And, I'm starting to be like the starting player on that team because all my friends have left me again. Yeah. So Cody and Drew went off to play for Vicious. A bunch of the guys went off to play for Fusion. And then Jesse went off to play for pbfanatics.com. I don't know how he got hooked up with that, but they ended up going on a good run, winning a bunch of events. So yeah, they kept bringing in like different coaches and like roster changes, and I just wasn't having fun playing anymore with them at least. So I did something I really regret, and I quit mid-season in 2004. I think I played like 5 events with them that year. But it was still mid-season because you played 15 events back then. You had like 5 NPPL events and 5 PSP events and the IAO and the Ultimate Madness. Right. So, we did well like the IAOs and the Ultimate Madnesses, but we did not do well in X-Ball. We really struggled in the higher ranks of the NPPL Pro Division, obviously. But that was when it's kind of like 10-man ICPL is now. So like you play rookie teams, you play novice teams, you play amateur teams, and you play pro teams. So you're playing all these teams. It's not like you just get beat up the whole time.
Right.
So yeah, I quit and I took a little break. That was in I think I was old enough to drive then. I think I might have been 17. And then Drew Heyer calls me up. He's like, "Man, you need to like get back into this. You need to do this." And he hooked me up with a tryout for Fusion. So I drove from Ashland, Ohio, up to Detroit, Michigan, which is like a 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
I had nowhere to stay. It was a 2-day tryout. I was just planning on staying in my car. To this day, I can't believe like my parents would let me do that. I don't think I told them the truth, you know, because I mean, Detroit's not very nice. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So I ended up just driving up there, man, and I stayed, and I had like $50, and it was like $40 for a case of paint. And I told them, I was like, guys, you know, I really want this. So I'm here. And then I had a great tryout, man. I ran to the snake off break, shooting people all like every game. Yeah, and then I remember Mark Worrell. He was the captain at the time. He's like, "Shoot this kid. This kid's going to the snake. Shoot him. No one can shoot me." You know, I'm 5'4", and I was really fast back then, so it was perfect. And I just came off shooting Tippmann, and then I had a DM4 with it had the Tadao chip in it, so it was like screaming. I was shooting. I think that's right when they started doing 15 BPS ramping in PSP. And Fusion was trying to make the jump from Pro-Am 10-man to X-Ball. So we were shooting ramping. And man, I gotta tell you, after shooting 5 balls a second to 15 ramping, I was shooting a laser beam. Dude, I couldn't miss. You know, like, you guys didn't have a chance.
Like, where'd my hopper go? It's gone.
Yeah. Dude, and the Halos didn't hold as much paint as like the nice new Spires and the Rotors. They held like 140. Like you could barely fit a full pod in there. They had to be empty when you reloaded, or you dump paint.
Dump paint everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, man. So you're shooting 15.
Gone in 2 seconds anyway.
I know. Yeah, so that's when I made Fusion, and that's when I met Caesar. I met Mark Worrell. I got to play with Fatty. I got to play with Mick Napolitano, Chad Hatala. I mean, these guys, you know, Tippmann to Fusion was kind of just like the natural growing order in this part of the country, you know. Yeah. Fusion didn't have as much funding as Tippmann. Tippmann was a fully funded team. I didn't pay for shit, ever. It was great. We had practice paying. We had flights, hotels, everything. I mean, they did everything but pay us. You know, they didn't even give us guns. Yeah. So my parents weren't happy about that. But then, like I said, you know, I was working on the farm. So I'm like, they're not going to pay my flights, and we're only going to do X-Ball. So I'm like, okay, I can figure this out. Like, I can work all summer, and I'll pay all my flights right up front, you know.
Right.
And then, so just when I get away from Tippmann, Eric, I don't know what happened, but Eric Garbers calls up Caesar, I think, and somehow they work out a deal for Fusion to have a Tippmann Effect 7-man team. So just as I'm getting out away from the Tippmann thing, I get sucked right back in. Yeah, man. But that meant more paintball for me, you know. So I didn't care. I was like, "This is awesome! Like, why would I be upset about this?" I know Jesse was upset. He's like, "I don't want to shoot one of those fucking guns." You know, because he.
No, I'm not going back.
I know. Yeah. So. Yeah, like I said, he was out doing that PD Fanatic stuff, and then he came back and we started playing together on Fusion. So he had been shooting that cheater board Intimidator, and then we gave him a DM4, and then he's got the vertical feed 98, so it was super funny.
Good old baby.
Yeah, dude, but I don't know, that year we were playing Division 1 7-man, we never missed a Sunday. We made Sunday every time. We never won or podiumed, but, man, for a fucking team of kids shooting Tippmanns, I'd say that's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad, right?
It's funny. I don't know if you guys Google search or YouTube search my name. I posted a video of us beating Strange in Denver of 2005. So the reason so it's cool to do that anyway.
Afterwards.
But the reason this is super cool is because Jesse was using a single finger trigger Tippmann A5 with a flatline barrel and a stock. So, you know, he's just running to the corner, shooting coon, and he double knee slides out to the corner, kicks up, looks super cool, and then he, extends his stock, pulls up, and I shit you not, man, he shot 4 of those dudes. He shot 4 of those fucking dudes with that Tippmann A5. Single finger, flatline. It was so awesome. He was so proud of himself. I I'm proud of him. Yeah, here we are, 15 years later, and I'm still talking about it.
Yeah, dude, I'd be proud of shit. I'd be like, dude, I hope
I know. It's one of my favorite stories. I'll never forget it. I think Garbers gave him that gun because he got sick of fucking buying him a new beer bag every event. He's like, I know what you're doing, kid. Here, take this piece of junk. See if you forget it next time.
Yeah, right? Oh, God, that's so funny. You're on Detroit Fusion. You're hanging out with, like, Caesar. I know Caesar. You just the whole Ultra Stealth thing. We had him on a previous episode. Bad Host. It's like, I think 30-something. But if you want to check it out, check out the episode with Caesar. You know, it sponsors Ground Zero. I play with them a little bit. So we got a ton of the Ultra Stealth here. But so what? How did the rest of the Detroit Fusion work out for you?
So yeah, I've got my APPA coming up. So it was nice. All the 7-man events I've ever played don't show up on my APPA. They use a different kind of ranking. Yeah. So I pull all these up, and then they're like just gone in the ether. But Fusion, so we did great. You know, I jumped up from D2 and I started playing D1 with Fusion. It was just great, and I'm literally playing with my idols, dude. Like, these guys didn't know it at the time, but like Caesar and Mark and Grant Butler and Fatty, these guys were my heroes, man. Like they were like royalty to me, and I'm playing with them. You know, I didn't get a lot of spins in the beginning, but I didn't care, man. I was learning so much, and I was playing with like what I thought was the coolest dudes on the planet.
Dude, right?
Yeah, man. So the 2005, I played 5 X-Ball events with them. It was SoCal Open, we got 4th. Orlando, we got 3rd. Chicago, we got 6th. Northeast Open, we got 6th. And World Cup, we got 6th. So
you're all right there.
Yeah, we started off strong. I think really what happened, some of the guys started getting cherry-picked that year. I know Fatty went to play for Infamous. Jesse went to play for NYX. You know, they're 2 of our big killers. We had another guy, Ryan Turk, he left. So that's just, you know, if you're a good team making waves, dude, yeah, man, it's tough. I don't really struggle with that anymore, you know, because I've got my guys that I've been playing with for 20 years now. So we're all buddies, and I put up with a lot of shit I shouldn't. Yeah, man. So, and I don't know what happened, but Fusion lost funding, and that was the last year of Fusion. So I only got 1 year with them, and I was just devastated. I remember we were sitting there, we were drinking after losing the World Cup. We got that 6th, which was just awful. And Danny Benitez was sitting there crying with like a candle or some shit. I don't know where he got it from. We're in one of those rental houses down there in Kissimmee, Florida. And he's like, "Well," I'm like, "What's wrong, dude? Like, what? Like, we got 6. It's not that big a deal. Like, we'll be back next year." He's like, "No, man, Fusion's done. I don't know what happened." I was like, "Oh, fuck." So then now I'm crying. I'm like, we're all crying. All the kids are crying.
Fuck, so we're all crying.
I know, man. It was sad. Danny Benitez, rest in peace. He died several years back. But that dude was just another killer that came. I forgot to mention, he came out of the Tippmann camp. That dude was just insane. So yeah, Fusion folded, and that was in 2005, and I graduated in 2006. So I just kind of took a little break from paintball so I could graduate high school, you know. And then in 2007, I was going to school in Bowling Green, which is in northern Ohio, really close to Michigan. There wasn't a lot going on at like really anywhere, like national teams, and at that time I was a broke ass college kid, so I couldn't really afford a lot. Dude, yeah, it was bad. You know, I went from working on a farm, being balling, to nothing. I had nothing. I was not used to that.
Not balling.
Not at all, man. It was awful. But fortunately, paintball was booming in Canada by that time. And then my friend Jason Munson, who I played on Fusion with, he hit me up. You know, we're all friends still. We all talk and hang out, and like they'd come party with me at Bowling Green. I'd go up there at Eastern Michigan and party with them. He's like, "Dude, I'm playing across the border with these guys called Windsor Lockdown." He's like, "It's great. Like, these guys are just so awesome, and they're paying for us, so you should come try out."
Yeah.
You know, and I'm hearing like, well, I mean, I probably shouldn't. You know, I'm in school. It's going to take a lot of time. It's like a 7-hour drive to get to Ontario, Michigan from where I was. And I didn't have a car with me. So, God, man, Munson, one of my best friends for the longest time, he would drive from Detroit, Michigan. He'd come down and pick me up every weekend from school. We'd drive. Dude, yeah, man, gosh, the friends you make along the way, I just can't say enough about them. But and then we would drive like 7 hours to Ontario, Canada, Combat Pursuit, owned by Jeff Van Dorser, another wonderful man who has helped me so much in my life. So we started playing with Windsor Lockdown. Windsor Lockdown played the CXBL. Yeah. It's like, do you remember anything about the CXBL?
Yeah, I interviewed actually. It seems like I interview a lot of people that have played the CXBL. Man, it seems like a great series.
It was a wonderful league. They did 2. I don't know if it was 15 or 20-minute halves, 15 ramping, which is the coolest thing ever. You're shooting the machine guns, and they covered all the paint. So they wouldn't fly us in. We'd just have to drive, but I don't know how we made it work, man, but we made it work. I remember going up there one time with like $5, and somehow we make it. But we made it work. Yeah, dude, if you want to make it work, you'll make it work, and we made it work.
Yeah.
And we would go up there with American cigarettes, and we'd sell them to them, and they would make a profit off of them because they charge like $10 a pack up there, and they're just horrendous cigarettes. So we'd be taking them these fancy Camels that came out back then, and here we're like drug dealers with cigarettes, Yeah. That's how we made that work. But yeah, I played with them for a while. I was playing with Jason Munson, Drew Charlotte, a bunch of Fusion guys. So I kept in touch with them, and then that's where I met Jeff Van Dorser. Like I said, man, that at that time, Combat Pursuit, they had this giant indoor, and man, I tell you what, it was the nicest indoor I've ever been to. Canada's all like one big country to me, so I don't know where it was really. I think it was in Ontario, but man, you walk in there and it was like it feels to me like people describe Boston Paintball. I've never been to Boston Paintball, but everyone says it's like the best place ever, and it's super clean and organized, and like locker rooms. That's what this place was like. So I walked in there like, man, this guy knows what he's doing, And so we played, and that was back when they didn't really have, it wasn't really like a tournament. It was more like the early generation of the NXL where you just play a couple games, and then it was like a season tournament. So, so we had 15 guys. We didn't do very well the first couple times we went up there. And then towards the end there, it was just the American line just running over people. Mm-hmm. And, you get better playing with your guys. It took us a good while, though. We got shit stomped. Because, a lot of the pro players from the States would go up there, and that's where I met, like, Jesse Benoit, Tom Guest, I'll never forget distinctly playing Fatty and Ryan Moorhead. They were playing with something Raiders up there. And I remember going toe-to-toe with those guys when that was when Fatty and Ryan were both on Philly Americans. So I'm like, man, Munson, like, we can do this, dude. We're hanging with these guys, Right. And these guys are like playing every weekend. That's their job, man.
They're good, man. Yeah,
yeah, they're good.
Not bad.
Not bad. Yeah, man. Even back then, it was before he had the super long hair.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. That week was just fun. So, I don't know how this happened. I think Munson had worked his magic again, and he got us to try out with PunisherPaintball.com. And this was when they were playing Division I X-Ball, I believe. So they had a bunch of old Fusion guys too. So they had I think Drew Heyer was playing with them at the time, Chad Hightower from Fusion, Tyler Spies, who played with the AC camp. Just a bunch of ballers, dude. It was a good program. And to top it all off, Tim Montrosser was the coach. So he was like the coach, and we knew Tim. Tim was our friend. He was the guy that we all looked up to because he was the Michigan guy that was our friend that went and started doing the big, he worked in the industry. He was playing with the baddest ass team ever, we worshipped Philly Americans back then. I think, hell, I still do. They're still super cool, it's like one of the most defunct teams of all time.
Yeah, no. They had all the badass killers that came from that team. I mean,
oh yeah, man, and still to this day, we show up to these 5-man events and specials there with fucking Ryan Moorhead and Chad George. I'm like, God damn it, Special! I thought this was going to be an easy $500, and then you show up and take it from us.
Dude. Everyone told me about it. So Connell and Special kind of live near us, so they're constantly kicking this shit out of me, and it's like, Jesus Christ.
Dude, they're so good. It's so crazy. I know. Yeah, and especially you see his vertical. It's like he's got a 7-foot vertical just straight up. So he's just a freak athlete.
Yeah, dude. Straight up dunking on me in paintball and in basketball. The guy's a freak.
Yeah, man. So, Yeah, so I'm playing with PunisherPB.com, and I think this is towards 2008, right before the recession hit. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, man, this is probably where I learned the most about paintball and leading like men in paintball. So Tim was out there, and we were getting a free clinic with Tim every week. Mm-hmm. And I can't thank the guy enough, because he made us all go from 7 players to maybe 9 players, like 9 level players. Mm-hmm. And it was just so great, man. Unfortunately, we never got a chance to play an event. That was right before Smart Parts folded, and they cut funding to everybody. So I think the only team that they funded that year was Philly Americans. I think they even dropped Dynasty. So Tim's like, I'm so sorry, guys. We were his pet project. I feel like he poured his heart and soul into us as much as we did him, and that's just the kind of guy he was. Right. So he's like, I'm
time into you guys. I mean, that's not nothing,
Dude, yeah, and the older I get, the more I realize how valuable your time is. Like I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. I wish he was still here so I could keep telling him. I tell him every time I see him.
All right, being a father and stuff, you really understand the importance of time and stuff.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, so that team folded, and I think that was in 2008. And then I was just so dejected, man, because I was like, that was like everything I wanted, because it was Sam Monville was on the team. I think Chad George had maybe played with him, but he had just gotten called up. So like it was kind of in that process of getting pulled up to the Philly Americans, and I was completely content playing with my friends. That's all I've really ever done. But I'm like, man, if I could maybe impress these guys, maybe I could play with them one day, But lost my chance, So that's one of those things you look back and what if we would have been able to play? Yeah. So I took a couple years off, and around 2011, I was done with school. I was working full time, and I was just miserable, not playing anymore, and like working in that corporate structure at a job that I didn't really like, And my my friend John Howard, who I'd played with Tippmann on years and years prior, 2004. Right. He hits me up. He's living in Columbus. I'm back in Ashland. Say, hey man, there's this field out in this guy's front yard. It's free. You can bring your own paint. You want to play? And there's this field called Escape Paintball, Grove City, Ohio, I think. And I show up there, and dude, it was a legit field. This guy had like this perfectly leveled, perfect grass, like perfect bunkers, and there were good players there. There was a lot of the guys that play at Level Up Paintball in Columbus, Ohio. So I went there, and I'm like, dude, this is awesome. And then I had my shocker, my nasty shocker that I use for Punishers right there. And and then John Howard shows me his Eagle 11. And you know me, I'm a sucker for the cool stuff. So he gives you this Eagle 11, and I'm like, oh my gosh. It's so, like, that shocker looks small, but if you compare it to an Eagle 11, it's so big and heavy and, like, awkward. And then, like, the ergonomics on the newer stuff was so awesome. Like, well, man, I got to buy one of these, and I got to play. Like, I have to play just so I can buy one of these, right? Like, I can't buy it, let it sit.
Right.
Dude, yeah, man. So
are such good guns, man.
Oh, dude, I'm a huge fan of Planet Eclipse. I'm a huge fan of all the guns, but I think Planet Eclipse has been probably the most innovative in the last 5-6 years, 10 years, more innovative than anybody else. Especially with the E-mech. I think the E-mech is the best gun to hit paintball since it started.
Ever, yeah.
Dude, yeah, for real, ever. This, like, I have 2 of them. They are like top tournament level guns. For what are they? $200, $250? Yeah. You put a hair valve in them, those things will shoot 16 balls a second.
Oh, I got a friend of mine. He's got the fang trigger from Inceptions, and he's like a little kid. He's got these skinny little fingers. He can finger the E-mech, dude. And he's 1,000 balls a second. It's insane.
I know, man. Yeah, if you check out the Brimstone Smoke Boys guns, they put the trigger shoes on them, and the trigger shoes will stick out just as wide as that trigger frame, so you can get your fingers in there. I don't know if you watch their games, but man, their guns are screaming.
Dude, I play on the Amateur Ground Zero team. We have crossed swords a couple times in the ICPL.
Oh yeah, I love those guys. I got to play a tournament with Anthony not too long ago, and
awesome.
Yeah, so Anthony Call, he's another guy that showed me a lot. It was just so funny because I had been playing with my friends for so long, I forgot what it was like to play with like a guy that knows what he's doing. And I tell you what, man, I played that one tournament with him. He's just back there screaming. I knew where everybody was. I knew our kill count. I knew who was shooting where. I knew my job. He didn't even have to shoot anybody because I just knew. He was playing our back center. It was just one of those eye-opening things. Like, if you want to learn more, you need to get out and play with everybody. You can learn everything.
A quick little cool story because I love telling it because it makes me laugh. So my brother and I are playing the show side ICPL the last time in Florida, not at Chicago. And we're working the show side, my brother and I, and we're getting a couple kills, and I sprint down the side to go get the tape, and I hear somebody go, yo, dude, these rocker fucking dudes are killing it, because remember, I had long hair, and it was Anthony, and I was like, man, that guy is not bad.
Yeah, man, yeah, Anthony's a musician, so it takes one to know one, right?
Yeah. But
he's
that story. Any excuse I can, I will.
Dude, yeah, the whole smoke camp I got a lot of respect for a lot of those guys, like him and
super chill.
Danny Manning, the original voice of paintball. You ever watch the old Trauma Head videos? That's Danny Manning on there.
Of course, baby.
Moving to the 50. Yeah, man. I like those guys a lot.
Yeah, man. So
jump back into the timeline.
Right.
Where was I? John Howard Escape. Yeah, John Howard Escape. So we just started playing, and dude, paintball is one of those things where no one ever quits. I've never met someone who's played a national event who quits. They always come back. So it's like a boomerang. You swing it around, it comes right back. So that's what happened to me. I was miserable. I needed something, and this is my chance. So we started playing.
People like trying to sell their gear. I'm like, why are you doing that? You're gonna be back here in 2 years. Why are you selling your stuff, bro? Keep your guys.
Dude, yeah. And then I sold a lot of guns when I was young just because I was so broke. But now, like, my guns up here, you see I got a lot of them. They're my most prized possessions. I don't use all of them, but gosh, it's so fun. Like, all my friends are paintball friends, so we just come over and talk about them. So show them. I'll let them borrow them and play with them. It's just fun.
That's fun to have. I'm the same way. I got drawers full of guns and stuff. I'm trying to get a setup. I'm working on it. And with the podcast, I'm trying to deck out this room a little bit, but that's what I kind of like. That's my next step. I want to get a pegboard so I can put on my shelf and play.
Yeah, dude. It's a perfect conversation starter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what the jerseys typically are too. Behind me, that's what I get a lot too. They're like, "Oh, you got any good jerseys?" I'm like, "Nah, they're all my jerseys."
Dude, yeah, I've never.
Podcast fam, no, I'm in the process. I'm getting 2 people. I don't want to put him on blast, but Joe Barrett said he doesn't have any. As soon as Joey B gets some, he told me I'm first on the list to get a jersey.
There you go. That'll be a good one.
Yeah, I'm talking to Kyle Barry. Hopefully, I'll get a Kyle one up here soon. So there'll be those jerseys back behind me soon.
I got a hefty jersey collection too. I've never sold a jersey. I have all of them. I bet I got 100 of them.
Yeah,
it's fun.
I'm going to be new. I'm going to try and get into the jersey collecting game now.
Yeah, man, and I wish I had easy access to it, but I have the original Dynasty jersey. I have an original blank Dynasty jersey, their first year, JT blue with the dragon on it. That's one of my most prized possessions.
Yeah, that's one you keep. That's one you hold on to.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you get those precious keepsakes you don't let go.
You don't let go.
Yeah, it sucks though because I bought that at the event. That was my first 10-man event, and it's a medium, and so I'm old and fat now, so it doesn't really fit very well.
Yeah,
I can't wear it, but I keep it. Yeah, I know it's unfortunate, but I'll keep it forever. Maybe I'll give it to my son one day.
I was gonna say when your kid grows up, you got to get him into it.
Yeah, man, he loves it, dude. I used to rock him to sleep every night watching paintball access videos. Now I bought him a 50 cal EMEC for Christmas. He's kind of taken. I don't know if you can see, but I got that black Inceptions cocker right there. He calls that his black auto cocker. That's his gun now, I guess.
What body on the cocker?
It is the Hornet.
Oh, I love the Hornet, dude.
I do too. It's super sick. I love seeing the windows and watching the bolt move.
Yeah, no, me too. I saw the first one I saw in person was Greg Hastings, and I was like, "Damn, bro, this thing is nice. It's a nice looking gun."
Man, I tell you what, Simon, he is a genius. He's got all those super sick autocockers that you can just scream on the trigger, man. And then that new FLE body. Holy smokes.
That's why I wanted an EMEC. That's for the I
know, man. And a lot of my guys prefer the EMEC to the 170. So I guess it's just preference. I'm not really a big fan of having plastic on a gun, and I don't know why. Because there's nothing wrong with it. It's just as strong as everything else, you know.
I'm the same way. I like agree with you 100%. I don't know what it is. Like, yeah, the 170R and the EMEC are literally the same gun, but it's just, I don't know, bro.
It's a character flaw I have. I can't.
Yeah.
I have one. I got that one over there, and then I got a purple one. So.
Yeah, but it's like I'm old. I dive sloppy. I feel like I need all the metal. I need all the metal.
I know, and honestly, that plastic's probably just as tough. You know, if you're diving that hard, you're gonna break that plastic piece off the front of your grip inside the 170. You know.
Anyway, yeah, no, 100%.
I don't know.
We went on a famous overshot tangent, but so you came back.
Okay. Yeah, so sorry, we're playing in Columbus. I'm just going down to this field in this guy's front yard, literally.
Yeah, which is insane. But anyway,
it was so great, though. It was so great, you know. And this guy, he bless him, he didn't charge anything to anybody. He'd fill your tanks up for free and let you bring your own paint. He just loved paintball. Eric LeBlanc. He doesn't play anymore, but he did more for Columbus paintball up until Dave Pando showed up than anyone else. So yeah, we're playing down there, and then I can't just play, you know, like I enjoy just playing, but I need that competition. And if I'm playing, especially if I'm playing every weekend, I need my boys. So I call up Jason Munson, I call up Jesse Sham, I call up Drew Charlotte, I call up all my old Fusion boys, say, hey boys, we're getting the band back together. So yeah, so I'll pull this up. It took some convincing too, because you know these guys are all just in school or just out of school, so we're still young men at that point. But it had been so long since we played a national PSP event. Our ranks had dropped so much because we were ranked D1 for so long. It's so hard to get your rank to drop from D1. I'm still so what, we're in 2021. I'm still getting hurt from my ranks from D1 in 2005. That's the scores they're using. So, like, yeah, I'll never be able to play any local events again, but...
the way ranks get crazy, like... So
I don't like it.
I haven't played a lot, so I played a couple 3-mans, like a couple 5-mans, and I was playing some X-Ball last year, like the Overshot team, and we're playing D5 X-Ball, and they're like, bro, you're the one D4 player. I'm like, bro, how am I D4? I played 3-mans and 2
I know, man. I know.
But then they're like, well, you got points for Woods Ball. I'm like, why do I get points for Woods Ball?
I agree.
It doesn't make any sense.
I know, man. Dude, it's a completely different skill set. Like, I've got a lot of guys on my team now that are really good at X-Ball, but they suck ass in the woods. They're just not good in the woods. And then on the other side, I've got guys that are awesome in the woods that just aren't good at X-Ball, you know?
Yeah, that's pretty much me. I'm trying to get better at the X-Ball.
I feel like the wood stuff, don't underestimate that long ball game, man. Those long ball shots are some of the hardest to do. Up before Chicago last year, I was running drills with my teammate Rio every week for 9 weeks beforehand. And we were literally just starting from the gate, shooting 200 feet across at each other, trying to hit each other with those first 2 long ball shots. Yeah. Try that shit, man. That's hard. That is so hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm getting the boys back together. And we decided to play the MSXL. That was when the MSXL just started going. They had some excellent teams in there then. I think that was when Jeremy Salm started the Outlaw program, so there was an Outlaw team in there. There was Louisville Asylum. There was PG Rise. We played 3 of the 4 events that year. First event we took 2nd of 14. Third event we took 1st of 8. Or second event we took 1st of 8. Third event we took 2nd of 9. So we just came in and raped that tournament series, and we won the series overall, which gave us free entry into World Cup.
Nice.
Which was so World Cup we got 8th of 59th or 59. So pretty good, you know.
Yeah, not bad.
That's a lot of teams.
Yeah, it's a lot of teams.
Yeah, that's a lot of teams. I think we got knocked out. We got knocked out by this team called Hulk. They were a European team. I don't remember which country, but man, there was a lot of them there, and those dudes were good. They came to play. And it was back when you could do sideline coaching and all that jazz. Yeah. And they had these big signs, and dude, I shit you not, these signs were 20 feet tall with like where they were, and like they'd follow you down the snake. So they came prepared, man, and they beat the shit out of us. Yeah. So, that was fun. But yeah, so that
paintball's pretty easy when you're like, hey, he's right there.
Yeah, kudos to them. We could have fucking done that, but we didn't.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Good on you guys. I feel like that's more
no harm, no foul. But I mean, like,
absolutely.
That's why I consider paintball in 2 periods, before sideline coaching and after, because I mean that's just such a crazy element to me.
Yeah, man.
For a game that's pretty much hide and go seek with the guns, like how are you gonna let someone on the sideline tell you where you are?
For real, it was crazy. Yeah, so in 2005, I was playing with the 7-man Tippmann team and Fusion X-Ball. And Tippmann was no coaching, no talking at all. And then X-Ball, Caesar was on the sideline screaming, Axe, shoot the 50 Dorito, shoot down. Caesar, he's a loud dude, so I didn't really have to think. It was just 2 totally different worlds. It was great. That was 2012, and then 2013. That's when we started. So we won all those. I had a good relationship with Eric Garbers. I think so highly of him. Still to this day, I was like, Garbers, what's up, man? We're killing this paintball scene right now. You got some extra money lying around or what?
Yeah. What's up? You want to get down on this?
Yeah, dude. And that's right when they were releasing the Tippmann crossover.
Oh.
So this was my particular team gun. Those of you just listening, it's got that rattle can spray paint special.
Yeah.
So this thing was actually pretty cool. It had some major flaws. It was tenfold better than the 98. It's ergonomically better.
I'm curious about these guns. Like I said, I started playing kind of for real, I guess you want to say, in 2014. So these had just come out, and I was mainly a scenario player when I first started. So these things, I was like, I don't know, these were very interesting to me. I was all about them in the beginning.
Dude, they're cool. I think they got a bad rap because Tippmann made them. Tournament guys don't want to shoot a Tippmann, no matter how good it is. They could have came out with the CS2 now back then, and people wouldn't have liked it because bad marketing or whatever. But this thing was super cool. Yeah, man, we had Virtue boards in here. I mean, obviously it's got the Vert feed, and then the coolest thing I've seen in a paintball gun in a while is it's got a mechanical safety. So it's safe, electric mode, mechanical mode.
Right.
It's pretty cool, man. I've never seen a gun do that since or before. Problem with that.
Cool. You could just flip a switch and mechanical mode. Fuck this battery.
Yeah, dude. And honestly, we had to use them. We had some Virtue boards in them, and the grips don't seal very well in 2013. So we got the funding from Garbers. He's like, here, I want you to promote these new guns. We went on a run again. We were playing the 7-man series the last year of the NPPL. I always preferred 7-man, and that was when they were doing. I think it was a race to 5 in Division 1, so it wasn't just a regular 7. It was kind of 7-man X-Ball, which was so much fun, dude. That was so fun. If I could get back one format, I think that would be it. It was so much fun. But that year, typical paintball weather, it was really raining a lot, and I don't know what happened, but it made these boards short, and they malfunctioned, but they didn't just stop working. They started shooting 30 balls a second. So we're on the field, and this is when Virtue was monitoring. So they put a little chip in between your micro switch and your solenoid, which would monitor 1 trigger pull per solenoid cycle. Right. So there was no cheating. So all the guns were 15 cap semi-auto, no bouncing. It was pretty cool. But then their machines are going up. These Tippmann guys are shooting 30 balls a second. It's a high pressure gun. It's not really shooting that. It's just kind of squirting out goo. Yeah. But so we did have to use. Yeah, man, it was bad. So we did have to use the mechanical side a couple times. But that was really my main, my big harp on these. They're I don't know, they're cool. And coming from the 98, I was happy with these. So that year. Yeah, so that year we were playing. We started in Division 2. Our first event, we got 3rd. And we called in some Canadian heavy hitters. We called in Jesse Benoit and Tom Guest, who I met on Windsor Lockdown. Tom Guest played with Aftermath the one year they did really well, a year or 2 ago. And then Jesse Benoit has coached NYX. Jesse Benoit is one of the best players I've ever seen. I don't know why he doesn't try to play pro. And then all my old Fusion boys. So we got 3rd our first event. The Canadian guys said, hey, I want to try to play pro. I'm going to go play. I think that's when they started playing with either distortion or rhythm. I think it was rhythm. Rhythm came first, so that was closer to them. It was Buddy Bowers guys, and they're all playing D1, and we started in D2. But that was the last year of the NPPL, and they didn't get enough teams to do D2 anymore. There was D3, D1, Pro, D4. Like, I don't know why people hated D2 so much, but we just couldn't get any competition, so we bumped up to D1. The first event we got 4th.
Hell yeah.
Second event we got, or second D1 event we got 2nd. We lost to TCP Machine in the finals. Man, this was the most frustrating game of my life. We had these guys beat. We just had to hold them for 20 seconds. Dude on my team gets a fucking 5-for-1. Fucking 5-for-1. So he shoots. So it wasn't all the penalty. He shoots a guy off the break, like one of our guys in the back of the head, and I believe he shoots. Or no. So there's one, and then he gets a minor because he got shot and played on, and that's. So there's 2 plus him, and then he gets a major for freaking the fuck out. So there's 5 guys.
Get out of here.
20 seconds, dude. 20 seconds. We had to hold. We would win that tournament, and he fucking does that. I'll never forgive him for that, but gosh, I love him to death still.
You guys were in a great mood after that.
Oh, I mean, I was so pissed, and I lived with the guy. I lived with the guy. I had to go home and look at him in the face for the next month. You son of a bitch. That's so close. And I had never won like a national tournament like that. You know, I had won Young Guns prior, but I had never been that close. And then, unfortunately, TCP, the team that beat us, they bumped up to the pro division that last event, and we went in and we slaughtered everybody in the last Division I MPPL in Las Vegas, the World Championships. We just won that one, which was probably one of my best moments in paintball because it was a team of guys that I had known and played with, you know, my whole career. And it was me culminating the people I know and turning them into a winning team. And man, I tell you what, raising that trophy with my friends was, aside from my son being born, was the best feeling I've ever had. It was so great.
Boys.
Yeah, man. And then, so that was in 2013. I took another little break. I felt like I had accomplished enough at that point, and I needed to get like financially set because I was just kind of a paintball loser. You know, I wasn't really working. I was just being a paintball bum. I was like I said, I was living with this guy. I was like, he had a giant house, and I was just staying with him. He was super nice, super cool. Yeah. So I got my life together a little bit. Then, like I said, you know, paintball's that boomerang, man. It throws you around, comes right back. Got that itch. I started doing a little bit of big games. You know, you can't stop at just big games. Big games are super cool, but I need that. You know, I gotta fulfill that itch, man. I gotta scratch.
Yeah.
So I got the boys back together, and we started doing some MSXLs again. And this time, at this point, the competition, I don't know if it's just me getting old, but the competitions in the MSXLs and in the divisional ranks in general, I feel like it's gotten a lot better. Like, these teams are out there practicing every weekend. They're going hard, you know. At least at level up, these guys are shooting 20, 30 cases a day, these teams. So we're trying to come in here after not playing for 5 years or whatever. And I think we took 5th. Let me check real quick. I think, we took 5th our first one.
Okay.
So not bad, you know. After just coming off of a win, though, like a win at Division I World Cup, I was like, what the fuck?
Right.
We're just losing this. Like, this isn't cool. And Jesse's like, hey, man, we're old. Like, you ever played 10-man? He played a tournament with Fight Club, I believe. He's like, dude, this was the funnest shit I've ever done, and you're going to love it. And me being the gun freak, I'm like, man, I don't want to shoot a mechanical gun. I shot a Tippmann my whole life. I want to shoot this cool stuff. And then I got a hold my first mechanical gun back, like my modern mechanical gun. I got that Hornet from Simon. And dude, I'm like, this isn't really a cocker. This is like a super cocker. You know, this thing shoots super fast.
Buttery smooth.
So, buttery smooth. Jesse talks me into playing a tournament with Colby Gallagher from Bad Company, Danny Manning from Brimstone, Jesse and me, and then John Wheeler from OBR. We go in there.
Yeah, I know John. I played a tournament with John recently.
John, great guy, and a lot of fun to play with. So that was my first mechanical tournament. So we go in there. You know, I'm thinking, I don't know what to think. like this is completely new to me. We're playing tournament games in the woods mixed with hyperball. I'm like, man, this is kind of cool. Like I used to do this stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So we go in there, and just like I mentioned earlier, you know who we fucking see in there? Ryan Moorhead, Chad George, Stash, and 2 other All-American guys. I'm like, oh, God damn it. This isn't going to be cool. Jesse, you told me this was going to be easy. This isn't going to be easy. So we go in there.
All too familiar.
Yeah, man, gosh. And so we go in there, we smash every team, and we get into the finals, and they just beat us up in the finals. I'd like to say it was a close game, but it's not. It was not. They hurt us. You know? Right. So that was my first introduction to 10-man. Or not even 10-man, mechanical. It was a 5-man tournament.
Right.
And so this was the UAPW series that it was held at Pinnacle Woods in Cleveland, Ohio. So I believe they like partnered with what's the place that Iron City's called? I forget.
God, what's the name of the field?
Is it Urban Assault? No, it's
Urban Assault.
Is it Urban Assault?
Yeah,
so he Phil, the guy that owns that, he partnered with them. So I'm like, dude, this was a lot of fun. I know we got our shit kicked in, but they paid us like $600 for second. I'm like, that pays for the tournament. You know, I didn't pay a dime for that. Great league. There was a bunch of teams. I got a lot of games in. It was a lot of fun, and I plan to do more of them. It was just so much fun. So Phil was doing the other one. So I'm like, well, I want to do more of these. I got my boys. I got Jesse back, and then I started calling my old Fusion friends again, and I got them hooked on it. So we got, I think we may have won the second one we played up at Phil's Field in Urban Assault. So that one was held completely on Hyperball. Yep. I feel like it was a good kind of transition for my guys to come in from X-Ball to Hyperball. Yeah, you know, it's very similar, but it's different. You know, I feel like it gets rid of a lot of the bullshit. So like the bounce shots, and you know, you ain't bouncing off a hyper pipe.
Nope. I was gonna say the flat of that hyper pipe is different. It hits different.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. So we're doing these 5-man events, and I'm just trying to gather because I wanted to start playing 10-mans. You know, the Iron City had been out, I think, twice. They held it twice then, and Tim, you know, was a dear friend of mine. So I'm like, we got to do this, guys. Like, we got to go play this. And I finally got 10 guys. I got all my old school Tippmann guys. You know, I got some newer friends that I made, but everyone on the roster had been Tippmann alumni, which I thought was pretty cool. And that's how Thunderhorse started. Mm-hmm. So Thunderhorse was the team that I played for, a captain before Fusion. We did really good. Our first tournament, our first 10-man tournament, we took third at ICPL. I think it was the first ICPL in Chicago. Yeah, man. And then we went on, and I think Iron City Classic was the next event. Dude, we took 6th place at Iron City. Like, that's no fucking joke. We beat a lot of good teams. You know, we barely Image kind of kicked the shit out of us, and then we played Farside in the finals. We beat Farside, but Image, they, like I said, they kicked the shit out of us. Like, I remember sitting there thinking, like, I can't do anything. They did not stop shooting my bunker. And everyone I talked to said the same thing. I'm like, well, I guess we know what we have to work on. We're not shooting enough paint because these guys just put it on us, and, you know, there's nothing we can do about it. And it was closer on paper, but, like, they really did. They kicked the shit out of us. I think it ended up being, like, we shot, like, 6 of them. So it was, like, it wasn't a blowout, but still it felt like it. You know? Yeah, man, so we got 6 at that tournament, which was fucking great for these guys, you know. Yeah, and so that's and that's getting the guys motivated, getting them back on track. You know, they're playing a lot, starting to run drills again, which is crazy because, you know, it's mechanical. You don't have to do that, right? Oh no. You know, I go out every Friday after work, and I do drills with my buddy Rio I work with. He also plays with me, so.
Oh hell yeah, dude! That's what's up.
Dude, you have to. And shooting the mechanical gun is so fun, but it takes practice. Like, you can't just come in here and, you know, like, it drives me nuts just watching these NXL events. These guys are just I shoot pretty fast, man. I'm just like, you know, but it took me a long time and a lot of practice to do that. So that's how
That's what I try. I try to do it for as long. Do it to shoot like a stream for like a lot. If you're an off the break shooter, bro, it's like not that easy. Like
no, man, it's hard.
Tiring.
I specifically remember the last day of Iron City. Like I couldn't, because I usually shoot with my middle finger. I couldn't pull it. I had to switch to my index finger. Yeah, so I'm like doing like some claw shit. It's just, oh man, it was awful. But you're right, yeah. So that was a lot of fun. So that year with our success, managing 10 guys is hard, especially paintball people. So I didn't really have any help in the management department. So I was kind of trying to, Jesse helps me out a lot. Mm-hmm. Jesse's really well off. He's got a lot of money, so he would help us out with he'd pay everything for us, and then we just pay him back, which helped me tremendously because I don't have the money to front, 3 tournaments a year, but he does, so that helps a lot. But even with the roster stuff, and then it sounds silly, but trying to get jerseys for everybody in hotels and all the shit that you don't want to do. So I'm just like, guys, I could play better if I don't have to do this. And that's when I started talking to Caesar. Caesar had been at that tournament and gave me a jar of my first Ultra Silk. so I was shooting laser beams that first event. But I saw him. He started to reintroduce the Super Cocker 2020.
Yeah.
Incredible. I've always been a Cocker guy. I've got 3-4 of them. Mm-hmm. So, and again, Caesar, a dear friend from my past. I'm like, Caesar, man, hey, I've got a pretty good team. Do you want to bring back Fusion or what? So right? He would. Yeah, man. I know, and I brought back Tippmann Effect. Maybe I can bring back Fusion, right? So I got a knack. Yeah, dude, I got a knack for resurrecting old, defunct, awesome teams. So yeah, it didn't happen right away. Caesar was kind of I think we needed to prove to him that we were worthy of the name, Mm-hmm. And he was absolutely right. But that was before, we did 3rd place at our first event ever, and then 6th place at I would consider a professional level event, So it didn't even happen then. And I don't know what changed his mind, but, Caesar and I have always been back and forth. He helped out the team even when we were Thunderhorse. And just before Chicago this year, he's like, let's bring it back. And I didn't tell you, I'd been talking to him, and I'd been kind of trying to get him to do that, but I didn't tell anybody what I was doing. So I dropped the bombs to my guys. I'm like, all right, that's what we're doing. And these guys are like, oh, shit's getting serious now, isn't it? And I'm like, yes, motherfuckers. This has been serious. What do you mean? Yeah, just have it.
Iron City Classic. It's fucking serious,
right. Dude. And I was really getting disheartened because I could see people were getting complacent, and we didn't win. We got 6th. That's awesome, but fuck yeah, man. I want to win. I always tell anything you call, you here to play, you here to fucking win. I'm here to fucking win, man. So the guys just weren't practicing in the off season. I'm like, I got to do something. I need something. I need help. So Caesar stepped in. We didn't have a very good showing at Chicago, so I don't want to say he turned the team around, but you can tell, you can feel it in our team chat. I started drilling all the time. My buddy Rio drilling all the time. Jesse's drilling all the time. We're playing a lot. I don't think our failure in Chicago this year, I think we took, I don't know, we made it into semis at Chicago ICPL this year, and we got shit stomped. And I think that was 100% my fault because, I'm still the captain. It's Caesar's team, but I'm the captain. I'm responsible for these guys. We played the semis on the hyperball field. I was playing the zipper. I figured if I could contain the zipper, my guys could do whatever they wanted on
the outsides.
Yeah, and I wasn't really paying attention to what they were doing, and I wasn't hands-on in the game plans and stuff, and I really should have been. That's 100% my fault. And we were doing the same fucking thing. They scouted us, and they just shot the shit out of us off the break.
Some leadership though. Hey, dude, it's really easy to point the finger, a good flip of one, but you're pulling the thumb right now.
There's no getting around it because as the captain, it's you, man. I mean, any leadership role, that's on you. So
I feel like any person, I'm never the guy to point and say someone else should, it's always me. What could I have done better? You can't blame other people.
Right.
It's ridiculous. you don't know what's going on through their head. You don't know whatever. You can't even control what they're doing. You can only control what you're doing and do your job better.
Yeah, dude, you got it. But you got to think that way about yourself. But like when you're in the captain role, you got to let guys know when they fuck up. Guys get like I yell at them a lot. So they know when they fuck up. But like we've been playing, it's like these guys are my friends. Like we've been playing together for 20 years. Like you watch
them accountable.
Right, dude. Like you watch the Dynasty pitch, you'd think these guys hated each other. But no, it's not that at all. They're just so close. They're like brothers, and they just talk shit, and they hold each other accountable. That's what I do with my guys, and I expect that from them. I take a lot of interest in my players. Like, they're my friends. They're not just my teammates. They're my friends. These guys have been my friends. They're my oldest friends, so I get on them. And I'm sure they don't like it, but they've got to appreciate it, I don't want to do that. If we're winning everything, I don't have to yell at you, right?
Yeah, exactly. We were crushing everybody. Everything was going great. We'd be crushing beers back here at camp.
Yeah, man. That's another great thing, too, about the new 10-man resurgence. You see guys just out there chugging beers, hanging out after the games are done. Like, when was the last time you were at an XL event and you saw guys drinking after they were done playing? No, people don't fucking do that. Oh, man, yeah, the 10-mans are just so much fun. They're so fun.
That's what I love about it. Like, dude, some of, like, the best, like, coolest paintball moments of my life, like, I don't know if it was last year, the year before. Well, I guess it wasn't. It had to be. But I got that, like, talk to Ryan Moore for, like, 30 minutes on the food line at ICC.
So nice. Such a nice dude.
Nicest dude in the world. Couldn't have been, and I'm a fucking D4 scrub from nowhere. He didn't have to talk to me for shit, but he did. And like, but if this was World Cup, bro, he ain't saying 2 words to me, bro. He's got, and like I get it, but like that's why I love this 10-man.
Serious, it's too serious, yeah, man. That's their job, and then like the pro level now is so difficult. Like they can't have any distractions,
No, you got to get that bread, Yeah,
man. And like when you get to play against those dudes, you know what I mean? Like we beat Dynasty in our first 10-man event in Chicago last year, so like. I got the first Dynasty jersey. Like, this is super sweet. Like, I would look. Yeah. It's one of my highlights of all time.
Dude, so just like I got to play Dynasty one time at ICC. They knocked us out of the semis, bro. I'll fucking never forget that. Probably till the day I die, bro. I got to go up against Dynasty, dude.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I don't think it would work with the X-Ball format, but like 7-man used to do when you got to beat or when you got to play rookie teams, novice teams, amateur teams, and pro teams. Like I told you 2 stories now of playing pro teams when I wasn't a pro player, and that stuck with me for life. Like we're depriving the new players of this stuff. Go out and play 10-man, man. Go play against these tough teams that kick your ass. You'll have a great story about it that you'll tell on a podcast 12 years later.
Dude, for sure, 100%.
Yeah, man. It's just
like I'm 33 now. Like we're the same age, but I only started playing recently. Like. No offense to the kids that are grinding, but I don't got time to be a divisional player for like 4 years, bro. So any opportunity I got to scrap with these guys, dude, I'm gonna fucking take it, dude.
Yeah, dude, the skill level of these teams now is crazy. I live.
Blake Yarber embarrassed me, bro. I might have shot my gun, but like, dude, I'm fucking sick. I got the scrap battle with Blake Yarber for like 0.5 seconds.
Well, it makes you appreciate like watching these guys. I watch all the webcasts and stuff, and it doesn't look as impressive on the webcast. It's just like when you watch NBA players on TV, you can't appreciate how giant these humans are. Like, how are they the same species as me? I'm 5'4", and these guys are 7'2".
That's like, even like, and like TV doesn't do it justice. Like my girlfriend and I were watching like a basketball game.
Right.
My girl's like, Steph Curry looks so small. I'm like, bro, Steph Curry is 6'3". He's not small.
Yeah, man.
Compared to this guy who's 7'2".
Right. And it's the same thing with paintball. Like you said, you watch Blake Yarber on the webcast, and he looks just like everybody else. But then he plays you, he fucks you up. Super fast. Yeah, man. It's so fun. That I wish everyone would start in 10-man and then move over.
Yeah. No, I'd like everyone should just play 10-man. I talked to like anyone who is like super hard up on like airball's the only format. I'm like, man. I agree. Like it's a good format, and yes, that's what the pros playing this. But I mean, if you really want to shot the scrap with the best of the best, this is where you should be, man.
Yeah, man, for sure. And then like I can't say whether it's the best format because I love paintball. I play big games. I play 10-man. I'll play X-Ball down. I live 15 minutes from Level Up. They've got a new pro team. I'll go out there and I'll fuck around with those guys. Usually they beat the shit out of me, but sometimes I do some good stuff. I'm not a young man anymore, but but it's still fun. I like all of it. It's all fun.
It's all fun.
It's all fun, but I definitely enjoy the 10-man the most, except for Mounds Fields. I fucking hate Mounds Fields. We can't win on a Mounds Field. I don't know what it is. We went out to Urban Assault and practiced All-Americans, Gridlock. Not Gridlock. I don't remember. There were a couple teams out there. We just got shit on all day. I was like, guys, we're not leaving the Mounds Field until we can win a game. We just went out there and got destroyed. And that's one of the things I love about it so much. We're pretty kick-ass at hyperball. We're pretty good in the woods. We can't win a goddamn game on mounds.
The first time I ever played mounds was the first time I went to ICC, bro.
That feels great.
It's so much fun, but I had no idea
what
the fuck I was doing. I had no idea.
I still don't. Tell me if you know. I have no idea what to do. We cannot win. I don't know what to do, And like I said, that practice we were out there, we were with Ryan and All-Americans are out there. We're cool with all those guys. Yeah. And they're trying to help us, and we just can't even help ourselves. You tell us what to do, we still fuck it up. I don't know.
Yeah, bro.
So
I remember, I'm thinking I'm tight. I'm getting clapped in the face. I'm like, bro, I thought I was in the bunker. I don't know.
I know. Yeah, my teammate Rio, he actually uses a 12-inch barrel on the Mounds Field because it doesn't quite shoot as far, he says, so he just dinks people over the top.
Literally, I'm in the bunker, I'm in the back, talking to my dude, and I'm just like,
yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah. Oh, I know, it's great and it's horrible at the same time.
Yeah, that's why I love it, dude. That's why I love it.
Yeah, man, and talk about the old faces that you've seen back, like Anthony Call. I remember playing that dude as a video game character when I was a little kid, and now we're hanging out,
Yeah.
It's super cool. And you got all the old school guys. How awesome is it to see All-Americans come back and especially lead the way?
Oh, dude, so many sweet ass dudes. I met Shane Pastana at a UWL.
Yeah.
Before it was whatever ICV, it was UWL, and I'm like, holy shit! I was using a M2 at the time. He was like, "Hey, nice gun, kid." I was like, "Oh, that just shit my pants." Oh my god.
Yeah.
Said hi to me. Oh my god.
And they've gotten a lot more nice in their old age. Those guys, because they used to be so mean.
Yeah, that's all I hear. These guys are dicks, and they the shit out of me.
Yeah, not anymore. I mean, maybe on the field, but they're so nice if you try to talk to them now.
Oh, dude, yeah, no. So, what else? What do you have going on for this upcoming season? We kind of covered, what kind of happened. So, what does the future hold for you?
Fusion's going full bore. I'm starting to get guys. We took the time off since Chicago. I've been drilling a little bit, but I haven't been going full bore. No one else has really been going full bore, just playing here and there.
It's so tough, honestly.
It is tough. Yeah, and you live in the frigid cold too, so you know how it is. We don't have any indoors around here.
Yeah, not even that. Fuck that. I'll suck it outside, but just for traveling, I'm talking about for me. I wanted to go to Chicago, I really did, but just with the way everything is right now,
right.
I've decided that if I'm not going to get on a plane to go play. If I could drive there, I'll play.
Yep.
So
I totally agree with you, dude. I'm not driving anywhere, or I'm not flying anywhere. I'll drive wherever. Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree.
Safe move. As much as I want to play on the national circuit and stuff like that, and trust me, we took second in fucking the first event, dude. So I really wanted to play.
Yeah, man. Dude, there's nothing worse than a second, man. Doesn't it? Just you feel good, but it's not the good you want, and I don't know why it hurts so bad. It's so bad.
And I'm sure, Anthony, if you're listening, I'm sorry, but so we beat Smoke the first game. They take 3, so we had to play the MVS guys, and bro, they beat. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. I think we did okay, but they beat the shit out of us, dude. And that sucks.
Those dudes are good, man. It's cool to see teams getting good at this format again, because there's some good fucking teams. Any of those top teams can beat any of those top teams.
And this is the amateur bracket we're talking about, dude.
I know.
All these good teams.
Yeah, the amateur bracket's stacked.
Dude, yeah. Bro, I played with Rosine Mooner and really good dude, bro.
Yeah, how's that fair?
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, that's fun. So Fusion this year, we're gonna try to play. I don't know what's gonna happen, but my plan is to do both of the ICPLs, and then we still have our spot from Thunderhorse for Iron City. So I'll probably just transfer the name over to Fusion. Same team, just we've got help from Caesar and support from Lone Wolf, lonewolfpaintball.com. So, and honestly, man, I'm looking to do better. We fucking didn't do well in Chicago this year. It was the only event we played. Guys weren't really motivated. We're all older now. We have families and wives. A lot of the guys' wives weren't real cool with them practicing and going out and doing all that stuff with COVID. And we need that. We need field time together.
Guys, if you lose them, cut them loose. Find new tricks.
Yeah, dude, I'm fortunate. My baby mama, she's so supportive of paintball.
My girl too.
I wouldn't be able to do this if she wasn't. She stays home with my son, and she encourages me to get out of the house because I'm kind of like a little pack rat. I don't like to do anything but paintball. I go to work, I play with my son, and I play paintball. That's me. That's all I have. That's I don't need any more.
Right, that's all you need. Yeah, my girl is awesome too. Like, she's like, "Do you love it?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, then do it."
Yeah, and with the 10-man, it's not like you're gone all the time. No. It's not like you're gone every weekend, and like these high-level pro guys, that's their life. I guess that's their job, though. Kind of. So it's different, but for me, just an average Joe, I can't really do the X-ball stuff anymore. And I still play a lot. I'm fortunate that I live right down the road from Level Up, like I said, so I get to play down there with good competition all the time. If that weren't there, I'd be driving to Michigan or,
what's it like? So, we've been doing this on, and I'm so thank you for being so gracious with your time and hanging out with me for so long.
I got all day, man. I love talking. I love talking ball.
But what's it like down there at the Level Up camp, man? I mean, I've talked to Nick, as a guy I've had on the podcast before, Nick Carney. But dude, what's it like there? It's got to be such a great atmosphere. It seemed pretty fucking sweet.
It really is. So, like I mentioned earlier, Eric Garbers was the most important person for Ohio paintball until Dave Pando came along. So Dave Pando is the owner of Level Up. I believe he did marketing for Dye, and he went to school and played NCPA in Ohio. He's kind of always been around the Ohio scene.
Right. I think we're Akron.
No. It wasn't Akron. It was down south. Akron. It was a huge party school, and they're known for their Halloween parties. I forget what it's called, dude. Oh, I forget. South Ohio. Sorry. I want to say Ohio Northern, but that's not it.
Oh, Northern Ohio. Yeah.
But it's not. It's in the South, so that's obviously wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
So he starts his field. I mean, it wasn't real big in the beginning, like nothing is. He had a nice.
Years. In the beginning is when it's tough.
Yeah, man. He had a nice plot of land. Not many fields. I think he kind of started with the X-ball field. That's all I played at first, at least at his field. He got that put together. He had a field factory team, Cleveland Imperial, which are a bunch of my friends that we played with. Ohio's a pretty small knit community as far as paintball goes. So if you're good, you know who everybody is, and we had been playing with the Imperial, with and against the Imperial guys for a long time. And they were playing there, so I just show up. We'd play there. This is back when we started doing the MSXLs for the second time around, when we got that 5th place. So yeah, he was just trying to bring players in, and I think he did a really good job of making it cool. He would bring in I think he brings in Marcelo Margot every year to do a clinic, and I mean, it is a good idea, and no one around here has ever done that before. He's just bringing cool things in for people to see and new experiences, and he's trying to grow the talent level. And man, I tell you, now he's got a pro squad. And they're not a top tier pro team yet, but if they keep going at the rate they are, I mean, they did okay. They did okay last year. I'm super impressed. And Matt Askren, he played with me in my last incarnation at Tippmann. Man, that dude's a fucking beast. If he keeps going, man, he's in his mid-30s, I think. If he keeps going, he could be one of the greats, I think. But I mean, I'm kind of biased, Matt's my good friend. He beats me up at the weekend, so I don't know. Right. But dude, they've got some killers. They've got Dave Schoenauer, Justin Politi, Nick Carney, Josh Lehman. They've got some good dudes.
Tyler Joliak.
Tyler, yeah, dude. Tyler Hollowell. I wish they lived, because I know a lot of the guys fly in. I wish they all lived closer, because if they got practice every weekend like some of these other high-level teams are doing, I seriously think they'd be a top contender. And so Dave supporting them, bringing them in, a lot of them were the old DZ All-Stars, which they did okay in semi-pro. Right. And then you bring them in, and then I remember seeing them as level last year on the webcast. And Jesse and I are talking, we call each other all the time. He said, dude, are you kidding me? Like, are you seeing this? Like, is this real? Because we do good against them at level up, but we're like, they're just fucking around with us. We're nothing. And they're just like trying shit.
Right.
So Jesse's like, we shoot these guys sometimes. Like, we can play pro. I'm like, whoa, no, Jesse, don't get crazy. Yeah. But yeah, man, Dave's just bringing in. So he's got the pro team. He's got all these great divisional teams, and now he's bringing in the MSXL. He's got an MSXL event there. He has several big games every year. It's just, dude, it's great. And I've always been driving to play everywhere, Right, and now finally, forever, dude. And finally, I live 10 minutes away from the field. It's like I drive there after work and do drills. It's great. Nice. Yeah, man. So if anyone's ever in the Central Ohio area, go check it out, man. It's fun. There's always people there. Friday night drills, dude. I'll be there right 4:00. They always leave the gate open for me because I think they close at 5. But I don't need reps. It's just Rio and I going out there. We're just shooting at each other, so we don't need like people out there or whatever.
All right, but that's awesome to let you do that.
It is, man. It really is, and they do that for like. Dude, honestly, they do that for anybody. Like Dave's, I think he's a paintball player first before he's obviously an excellent business owner, but I remember when I first couple times I went out there, Dave was playing. Yeah, man, and I think to do something like that and pour money into like the scene takes a special person, and he's really doing it. We've got some other great fields around the Central Ohio area. There's a Spider Park Paintball, a little north of Central Ohio. It's got some of the most awesome fields like I've seen, woods ball fields, but like they don't, they charge you like $55 for a case, and if you want a second one, it's $125. And if I'm going out there, like I shoot 4 cases, so I just can't go out there. So I'm like, guys, if you would just help me, you'll make your money back on me. Just I can't spend $400 to play a day of paintball,
Right. You'll make the money off me, but I just need to make a little less. Come on.
Yeah, man. Whereas Dave recognizes that, and his woods fields might not be as great. I think he's got way better like scenario fields. So he's got like these big white containers and like awesome hyperball field, and he's got this big fort field. There's so much shit. It's so awesome. I love it, yeah.
So, I guess my last thing before I let you go is we've talked a little bit of big games. I fucking love big games. That's how I got in. So, like, my quick little story is, like, I started playing big games. My brother got me into it. I was in a band. My band stopped playing. He's like, yo, you look like you're a little down. Why don't you come play paintball? I was like, yo, I'm in. All right, cool. Went to a big game, crawled up, shot 50 dudes in the side. I was like, I fucking love paintball.
Yeah, dude. If you could literally shoot 50 people.
Yeah. I mean, I don't give a fuck if they weren't paying attention. Fuck off.
Yeah. Should have been fucking paying attention.
Paying attention. Everyone knows the people that hang out on the base. They're like,
Yeah.
But,
man, it's great.
So what's been like your favorite over the years, and what's like a field like you love going to for scenarios?
Favorite big game?
Yeah.
So I've only done 3 fields. I've done Dave's field, I've done Splatter Park's field, and then I've done the Hell Survivors field. So this is a funny story. Hell Survivors used to do a thing called, I think they might still do it, but it was called Tippmann versus the World. When I had first gotten on Tippmann Effect, Eric Garber sent Jesse and I up there to kind of like, because they did a good job of keeping track of how many people like walked on and walked off from the teams and like kill death ratios. Right. So we had unlimited paint to go to a big game. Can you imagine how awesome that would be? And not only that, Tippmann makes pretty cool paint grenades. So we had I literally had like a paint grenade belt going down both shoulders. I was carrying more paint than those 98s only shot like 6 pods if you're lucky. But I was carrying 12 just because I had them, So they were free. Yeah, dude. But I'll never forget. So we walk out there. I'm with Jesse. He's got like 30 pods and like a 110 CI tank on this 98 that's, with a 110, it's literally like 4.5 feet long. And he walks out there, and before he takes 3 steps, he gets shot in the face. So it's like he's prepared for this huge battle, and he's just dead. I'll never forget the look on his face. He's like, fuck this. This is fucking stupid.
Time to walk back to reinsertion, pal.
Yeah, man, it's a big field, and gosh, walking with all that stuff kind of sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, man, I love the big games. They're all fun.
Yeah, dude, they're just so much fun. They're just so much fun. Yeah, Hell Survivors that's like a nice place to go. It's
a old field. It's been around for a long time. They do a good job.
Yeah. So like a dude I know is another kind of like little funny thing is I get picked up on the scenario team in an area called Gorilla X. And, so I see this one dude, and he's clearly way better than everybody else. Like this is my first day on the team. They picked us up because they're like, "Hey, you and your brother play well. The guys that run the team are 2 brothers, so come play with us." But anyway, so I'm watching this guy, and I'm like, "Yo, he's so good." Yeah, that dude is Pete Utching.
Oh yeah, no shit, he's better than everybody else.
Yeah, but I'm like, yo, I want to play just like him. I'm gonna follow this motherfucker everywhere. And then I finally find out who he is. But he was always saying, because he went there when he was like a part of Die, he had to go there for, I think, Monster Game was at Hell Survivors.
Yep.
They were trying to talk us into going there playing. But yeah, a little funny story. I'm like, yeah, but this guy looks pretty good. I'm gonna play just like him.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's crazy. You run into, they're just there having fun, just like us. Yeah. It's no different.
He had his Die Dan with like a box mag or whatever, just fucking lighting people up, dude.
Normally, I'm not a fan of like the paintball guns that look like real guns, but that is pretty fucking cool. It's a matrix with like a mag-fed, container on the bottom. That's pretty sweet.
I had one. It's rather gimmicky. It's a little heavy. But I mean, it's cool. I guess I got rid of it.
It's cool. Yeah, I like it a lot for a big game gun.
It's cool. Like, I used it a couple times, and then some kid was like, "Here, I'll offer you money for this." I was like, "Yo, later."
Right. Yeah, it's not practical. Like, if you're trying to do well, it's not the gun you want. It's really bulky and still a cool idea. I like that they're trying different stuff.
Right. I'm just at the point, like, especially now, I'm like, dude, if I'm playing a big game, bro, autococker all day.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, my favorite gun to use in a big game is my G6R Intimidator. Ooh. That thing, I cannot carry enough paint for that gun to shoot, so I'll use a 77 tank. Fucking shoots 20 pods with an SLP regulator on it. So, like, I literally have dude, it's crazy. So, yeah, that's probably my best. However, that leads to a very expensive day.
Yeah, very expensive paint tab at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, man, you're shooting 7 cases. Like, fuck, how did I go through this?
Right,
yeah.
I hate that at big games when it's like you're in all these firefights and you're like, damn, dude, it's like 10 o'clock and I shot like 3 cases? You're like,
I know. And you can't help it. What are you supposed to do? Just not shoot the guys? You have to shoot them.
Yeah, just let them run. Yeah, let them come at me.
Right, yeah. Yeah, man, I love it.
Dude, I love it. But so getting down to the end, I want to give the opportunity to shout out anyone who's helped you. Like, if there's a single person where like you haven't mentioned the name and you want to give them a shout out that helped you get to maybe where you are definitely now, and all your sponsors that are going to help you out with this, give them a shout out.
Yeah, man. So the cool thing about paintball, like I said, has been the people who have helped me over the years. Like, they didn't have to do that. So like starting off with like Jim Colvin Sr. and Jim Colvin Jr. from Great Lakes Paintball, taking in a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
I can't thank those guys enough. All of our lives, all of those kids' lives would not have been the same if they didn't take a personal interest and help us learn. Then leading up into like Bill Ayers and Jason Casewalt, the original captains of my Tippmann experience, they were wonderful. And now Eric Garbers. Eric Garbers is, gosh, he was wonderful. We literally called him Uncle Garbers. Thank you so much, Garbers. And then, from there we went to Cesar Pizzo and Mark Worrell and all those guys. Like, they're the best. And then leading into the Canadian guys, you got Jeff Van Dorser. He was the best. And after that, Tim Montresor. He was the best. Yeah. And now that I'm more in that leadership role, I try to think about how much those guys help me, and I try to help these guys as much as they can. And I'll never be able to do what they did for me, but any little bit that I can, I like. So as far as sponsors go, we got we're Caesar's team, so obviously all of our guns are decked out in the boom juice, boom coating. He's got like this oil now called I think it's the boom juice. So he's got the boom juice, the boom treatment coating, and the ultra silk. My shit's got all that. So I had him do my body, my hair valve, my barrel backs, and then obviously I use all the ultra silk. I know the ultra silk guys a lot of guys are really skeptical because it is more expensive, but dude, I've had Caesar gave me my tube of ultra silk 2 years ago. It looks like it hasn't been used at all. So, I mean, it really pays for itself over the years, No, so it just lasts
a long way.
It really does, man. Just haters, try it. If you are at the field and you see me and you want to try it, I've got some. I'll let you try it. It's fucking awesome. It'll help you. It really does. I don't know. Don't knock on it. Try it. And then LoneWolfPaintball.com. That's where Caesar does all of his ultra silking stuff and that boom coat nonsense. They help us out with anything we need. There's like the best online store to get whatever you want. Hit them up. Even if you want to get some custom stuff, like Caesar's starting to get into the custom market. Like I don't know exactly what he does, but I've been seeing him like pimp out these old autocockers. Like I just saw him do like this new carnivore with
yeah.
Oh, dude, the black and red with white splash. So sick. So, if you guys got old autocockers, send them to Caesar. He'll Caesarize them for you, and they will shoot so good.
Yeah,
that's it. And thank you, Travis. Thank you for having me on, listening to me. I ramble on a lot.
Thank you for coming on, dude. I really appreciate it.
And like I'm just a fan of the show. Like I said, that you can't have enough paintball content, and I like that you tell all sides of the paintball story. I've heard MagFed players. I've heard you even got international players on here now. Dude, I love it. So keep going, man.
Like I'm truly blessed to be able to talk to some of the people that have like little behind the scenes things we went through. Like we were trying to figure out if we were in the same time zone. It's like I'm so crazy about it because people from Iran. I'm talking to people like
I didn't think about it. I didn't think about that at all.
I'm talking to Leds. He's in Europe, and then I'm talking to other people from California. Like, bro, my time is so fucked up, dude.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, thank you so much for coming on, dude. I really appreciate it.
One last thing I forgot to mention: we have a Thunderhorse documentary video coming out.
Hell yeah, dude! What?
It's just like one of my friends made it, so it's not like production quality, but it's pretty fucking cool.
How can people get that?
So go to Rookstar Entertainment on YouTube, or I will be sharing it on the Thunderhorse Facebook page and the Detroit Fusion Facebook page. So it just goes in. It's more of a, like I told him, I got sick of seeing just the highlight videos. So it kind of goes in, and each guy's got a little talking section, and it kind of just tells us a little bit about the guys and about the team. So go check that out.
When this video is ready, for sure. I will, if this podcast comes out before it's ready, I will add the link in the description of the podcast when it comes out post. And of course, I'll blast that out on the Overshot video.
Sure.
And everything too.
Great, yeah, man. Thank you so much. I told him I needed it done tonight, so hopefully he sends it to me after I'm done talking to you.
Oh, sweet. So this is recent. So this will definitely be in the show notes, guys. So if you're looking for this video, get in the show notes and check it out. And Nick, dude, thank you again for joining us.
Good. Thank you, Travis. I'll catch you later.
Overshot, guys. Later.